Hi, I'm filming over here today because I feel like it. Literally no reason, just felt like sitting over here. So, welcome to my December recap. This is now a full year of recaps. I did a full year. I did a recap every month in 2020. I'm really proud of myself. I don't know about you, but I'm really proud of myself. I'm gonna talk more about 2021 at the end of this, but we're going to be ending out this tier ranking list. This is going to be the final additions to our tier list that we've been making this year, and that's very, very exciting to me. So, without further ado, first thing on my list, the Euphoria special. I made a video on this, and I thought it was my #1 movie of the year for 2020, a spoiler, I guess. So, a couple of the things that I watched this month made it onto, like, my top 10 lists of the year, so I would definitely recommend, like, going to watch that before this, probably, because I'm not really going to elaborate on those. This one specifically, because I talked about it twice already. Incredible, love Euphoria. Next. Okay, Mandalorian Season 2, also talked about this. Fantastic season. I liked it better than the first season. Really confused why they're making a third season. Ending made me cry like a baby. Super excited for the Ahsoka show. Run! Also talked about this in my top 10 list. I'm so annoying. Sarah Paulson, suspense, Munchausen by proxy, Hulu film, incredible acting, really fun watch. Would recommend. Okay, Shameless Season 11, new thing. Let's talk about Shameless Season 11. So, I have been recording my, like, little reviews of the episodes each week on my webcam, and I'm gonna compile them all together once the season is over and put it on my second channel, because this is the final season of Shameless. Shameless is my favorite long-running TV show. I've been watching it on air since, like, season 6. And the fact that it's ending makes me really, 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 really emotional. I am liking this season a lot so far. I like season 10 a lot. Like, season 10 was, like, the season that I enjoyed the most since, like, season 5. Because the first 5 seasons of Shameless are, like, god tier. Nothing tops the first 5 seasons of Shameless. They're elite. So really enjoying it. Don't want to get into it too much because I have been, like, talking about, like, all the plot lines and stuff in that video. Might make, like, a full reaction video on the finale. But we've been getting, like, they've been doing, like, the little Hall of Shame, like, montage, like, flashbacky episodes, like, in between the normal ones. So last week was the Galovich one, which was amazing, really unexpectedly so, because I was like, I've seen all these scenes a million times, like, why do I need a montage episode? Did need the montage episode. It was glorious. I haven't seen the Kevin V one yet. I'm filming this on Monday, so it came out yesterday. I haven't seen it yet. I'm, like, not, like, super interested in seeing, like, montage episodes for, like, characters other than Ian and Mickey, because, like, I have seen the show, like, the entirety of the show, like, 5 or 6 times, so, like, it's not like I need, like, a refresher on, like, stuff that happened to them in earlier seasons, but I am gonna check out Kevin V's, because people said it was good. I'd be interested in seeing one for Lip, too. I don't really know, like, I'm sure we're gonna get one for Frank, and I'm probably not gonna watch Frank's. And, like, I'm trying to think of, like, who else? Carl and Debbie might be, like, one. I don't know. But next week's episode is gonna be a normal episode again. So, yeah, loving it. Oh, shit, I have to rank these. Okay, so these first 3 things I talked about, even though they were on my 2020 list, they were still new watches, so I need to rank these. Oh my god. Okay, Euphoria Rue. God damn. Okay, so I have Euphoria in A, and this is like the Euphoria Rue special was, like, the best episode of Euphoria, so it definitely has to go in A. I like Euphoria as a whole more than this one episode, but this is, like, the best episode, if that makes literally any sense at all. Mandalorian is so good. Oh my god, I already ranked season 2 because I saw the first half of it last month. I'm an idiot. I'm leaving it where it is. I'm happy with where it is. Run is, okay, I'm gonna put it, like, right here, near other Sarah Paulson content. I think she'll feel safe and nice there. Shameless, Jesus. I'm only ranking, like, what I've seen so far of it, and like I said, I think this is, like, the most enjoyable season since, like, season 5. So, I think I'm gonna put it here. Okay, watched a lot of Christmas movies this month, so just gonna briefly go through all the Christmas movies that I watch. Me and my family just, like, watch all, like, the Christmas classics. So, Nightmare Before Christmas. I went through a phase in, like, like early high school, where Nightmare Before Christmas was like my favorite movie, like period. Like I would watch it every day. I would listen to the soundtrack all the time. I was obsessed and am still frankly obsessed with Lock, Shock, and Barrel. Those are my bitches. I fuck with them. Their little song about murdering Santa Claus, Christmas classic go-to. It's just a fantastic movie. In my opinion, it's a Christmas movie. I don't watch it around Halloween. I watch it around Christmas. But to each their own. I think it can be both. Fantastic movie. Love me a stop motion, Henry Selick, Tim Burton, whatever. It's amazing. What can I say? We watched the Jim Carrey Grinch. Once again, classic. Baby Yoda's got nothing on Baby Grinch. Baby Grinch was the blueprint. It's just a very, like, extra, sort of a necessary elongated version of the Grinch, but like, the sets and costumes kind of go hard, so. Christmas Story, classic. All these are classics. I need to stop saying classic, but Christmas Story is a classic. It's so funny. It's got, it's, I feel like it's aged pretty well. Like, I feel like the humor still holds up. Just like so many like iconic scenes in that movie that is like, I hadn't seen Christmas Story since I was like a little kid, and there were like there were some iconic scenes that I like distinctly remembered, even though I haven't seen it in years. I like Home Alone better than Christmas Story, and we didn't watch Home Alone this year, but I just wanted to put that out there that I think Home Alone is great. And we didn't watch it this year, so. Polar Express. Polar Express is another one that I also haven't seen since I was like a little kid, like a staple, like early 2000s kid childhood film. Like, I feel like any daycare you went to, like, they would be playing this film around Christmas. The animation is so ugly. So ugly. We know that. But the story is so good. It's such a fun, like, adventure story. I would love to see a remake of this movie, actually, because the animation is so hideous, but I think that, like, the concept is so good. Like, I would take either a live action or, like, a better animated one, like, a better, like a 3D Pixar type thing. Either or, fantastic movie. It just like fills me with energy and excitement and gives me good vibes, and I love the world building, and it's great. Elf is the best Christmas movie, won't argue with you. Elf is my favorite Christmas movie. I believe it's the best Christmas movie. I think it's never not funny. Like, I watch this movie every single year. We watch it on Christmas Eve. That's usually when I watch it. It never fails to make me cry laugh. It's so funny. It's so funny. I understand that there are people who don't think that Will Ferrell is funny, so you might not think this movie is funny, but it's just so good and creative and hysterical, and I love it, and it's great. So, those were, like, the big Christmas movies that we watched, but we also watched we watched these, like, documentaries on Netflix that were, like, the making of Nightmare Before Christmas and Elf. I'm a movie buff, love seeing behind the scenes, making of type stuff, but I did find these documentaries really, really, really obnoxious. I thought the narrating was really annoying, the editing was really annoying. It was like edited like a YouTube video. Like, I don't know how to explain this to you. But that's my 2 cents on that. I like the Nightmare Before Christmas one better because I just think like the history behind Nightmare Before Christmas is like super interesting. Elf too. It's just I like finding out like how movies were made and stuff, but like as far as like the actual documentaries go, found them very obnoxious. So I am gonna rank that. It was like 2 episodes. I'm gonna put it in D because I thought the editing was really annoying. Like, I'm gonna put it at the bottom of D. Sorry, that's harsh, but like documentaries really gotta be like some type of way to impress me. Okay, oh my god, we also watched Klaus. I forgot to mention this, but this is a Christmas movie. But I also feel like this is the kind of movie that it's like you don't have to watch it at Christmas. You can just watch it in kind of like the wintry season. This movie came out last year. It was a Netflix original animated movie. It was nominated for Best Animated Feature at the Oscars last year. This is, if you haven't seen this movie and you want like a good, like, I guess like now it's way past the Christmas season, but if you want like a good Christmas, like a new, like a very original Christmas movie for next year, watch Klaus. It's about like Santa is like in it, and it's kind of like a Santa origin story in a way, but it's just like so unique, and the animation style is really, really pretty, and it's really funny, and it's just really heartwarming, and it's a great movie, and I would recommend it. Okay, so I watched 3 different, like, pop star documentaries this month. First one was Miss Americana. I watched Taylor Swift's documentary because Evermore came out, and that was, like, a whole thing, and I had heard her documentary was really good, so I went and watched it, and it was, in fact, very, very, very good. I thought her documentary was awesome. Like, I haven't been really into Taylor Swift since I was, like, a child. I was really into her in, like, because I grew up in Nashville, which is like where she's from. So it's like if you're a young girl in Nashville, Tennessee, you are raised on Taylor Swift, right? So but I haven't really been in the know with her for the past couple years, but I thought her documentary was like so inspiring. I love seeing like the behind the scenes of like making the album, and I love seeing like the bits in the documentary where she was like writing the music, and I thought it like that. I think that stuff is so interesting. Just also had a lot to say about like her career and like the, you know, the whole like rough times in her life regarding her career, and I just thought it was really interesting and insightful, and I think she's really, really inspiring. And I think that if you don't like Taylor Swift, you're a misogynist, like straight up, because like I don't like actively listen to her music, but like I respect her so much as an artist, and I think that everybody should, because she's Taylor Swift, you know? So I'm going to put I'm gonna move this here and this here and put it here. Yeah. Second one I watched, In Wonder by Shawn Mendes. I watched the both of these in like 24 hours, like the Taylor Swift one and the Shawn Mendes one. So I talked about this a bit in my 2020 best of list, because Shawn Mendes' new album made it onto my top 10 albums list, and like I have never been like a listener of Shawn Mendes like whatsoever, but I thought his new album was excellent. I think it's so good. I think it's such a good like pop album, and so I wanted to see his like accompanying documentary to go with it. It didn't really have much to do with the album. Like, I would have liked to see more of what Taylor's had, which was sort of like behind the scenes of making the music. Like, it did have some of that, but I wanted more of it. I don't know, I just think, you know, he's like total like basic white boy, right? But like he can sing, and so I don't know, I thought it was interesting. I was entertained. I would go see Taylor in concert before I would see Shawn Mendes. Like, after watching both of these documentaries, like, I would definitely, like, be like, yeah, I would go see Taylor Swift. Don't know if I would go see Shawn Mendes, but I think his album is great, and I thought it was, like, a good documentary. I thought Taylor's was better. Third one being Ariana Grande. So, Excuse Me, I Love You, I think was the name of it, on Netflix. So, this is my fault, because I thought it was more of a documentary. It's not really a documentary. It's, like, the Sweetener tour recorded, and then, like, some behind-the-scenes stuff in between. So, I was kind of disappointed on my first, like, when I was watching it, because I wanted more of a documentary. Because I want, like, once again, I like seeing, like, the behind-the-scenes of, like, making the music, developing the tour, that kind of stuff. And it didn't really have that. Like, obviously, loved seeing the Sweetener tour, like having an HD recording of the Sweetener tour that you can watch. You know, I was doing some crafting when I was watching it, jamming out to Miss Ariana. She's, like, the most talented vocalist of this generation. She's one that I definitely want to go see in concert once, like, COVID permits, because I thought Positions was incredible, and I want to see her Positions tour, because I was going to go to the Sweetener Thank You Next tour. It just didn't work out because the Florida dates were rescheduled, and lots and lots of stuff. But, so, with that being said, I liked it. Like, the part where they were, like, watching Midsommar had me shook. I was like, I love that movie. But yeah, would have liked to see more sort of behind the scenes stuff, because I personally thought it was going to be a documentary. I feel like they could have, like, advertised it more of, like, oh, this is a concert movie with, like, some little scenes here and there. I wanted to see more of her, like, more of, like, her not performing, if that makes any sense. Shawn's C. I know C is, like, stacked right now. But yeah, like, here. Ariana's, see, like, I'm like, did I like Ariana's more than Shawn's? Like, yes, because I just like Ariana more. But I don't know, I feel like I have to put them, like, right next to each other, because, like, I liked this style of Shawn Mendes' more because it was, like, an actual documentary. But I just love Ariana. Okay, watch the High School Musical, the series holiday special. So I did do a video on my second channel reacting to the soundtrack, so, like, I knew all the songs going into this. I kind of wish I hadn't done that, to be honest, because I felt like I found the holiday special very underwhelming as a result, because, like, I'd already heard all the music, and there wasn't really a lot to it besides that. Like, there wasn't, like, a big, like, performance. Like, it wasn't very, like, performance heavy, because obviously they did this, like, in quarantine, so, like, they each had their own, like, thing. Like, they were, like, by themselves, so it wasn't, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't, like, big, like, performance musical numbers because of how they filmed it. I did love seeing the little teaser of season 2, though, like, that one number. I wasn't aware that was, like, a season 2 song when I was listening to the soundtrack, so that was very exciting. Yeah, I don't know, I just thought it was, like, I liked Like, I liked the Matt and Josh's little duet, because I thought that had the most, like, performance value, because, like, I feel like that was, like, giving me the most, like, content when I had already, like, listened to the music. So, I don't know, like, I feel like if I hadn't listened to the music beforehand, I would have enjoyed it a lot more. But considering I had, I thought it was, like, okay, I had a good time. I've missed the High School Musical squad. Very excited for season 2. Hope that we get some more little teasers for season 2. Soon. So, there. Okay, so I watched The Lie, which was an Amazon Prime Blumhouse movie starring Joey King. I, like, almost forgot her name for a second. How dare I disrespect Emmy-nominated Joey King like that. I feel like Joey King gets a really bad rep because of The Kissing Booth, but may I remind you that she played Gypsy Rose Blanchard in The Act and got nominated for an Emmy, and it was the performance of a fucking lifetime. Like, she was incredible, so if you haven't seen that show on Hulu, you should watch it. So I did watch this movie because I don't know, I saw some TikTok about it or something or other, and I was like, yeah, I want to watch a spooky movie. I don't want to, like, talk about it too much because it'll spoil it, but basically, like, it's, like, this girl and her dad, and they're going to this, like, ballet camp, and they, like, pick up her friend to, like, bring to the ballet camp, and then they, like, go into the woods or something to, like, take, like, a bathroom break or whatever, and then the basically, like, the Joey King's character, like, pushes the girl off a bridge into the water and she dies, and then, like, they're, like, figuring out what to do. Basically. I don't know, it was worth watching. Like, I was very, like, on edge. I was very, like, interested. But yeah, I thought the ending was kind of stupid. I don't know, why does Catch Me If You... I'm gonna have to move everything around before I do my final ranking list. The Prom, I talked about The Prom, my best of 2020, because it ended up on my top 10 movies of the year list. I'm just as embarrassed as you are, I promise, but I enjoyed myself so much watching The Prom. I've been listening to the soundtrack a lot, both the Broadway one and the movie one, because I wasn't, like, super familiar with the Broadway soundtrack before watching the movie. But, like, all the controversies aside regarding the casting especially, like, it's just such a fun movie. And it was a Ryan Murphy hit, as much as I have to admit it. It was. Show. Oof. Here. Okay, so I wanted to, I'm not, like, ranking this or whatever, but I just wanted to bring this up, that I did watch the Stranger Things D&D holiday special. That's a lie. I haven't finished it yet. Okay, so this thing is, basically, the Stranger Things did this, like, holiday special on their YouTube channel, where it's Finn, Gate, Natalia, and David, and they're playing D&D. It's like a full, like, D&D game, and it's very fun and very interesting. I have not finished it yet, because it's like over 2 hours, and I just haven't gotten around to watching the whole thing, but I wanted to mention that I think that's really smart to do as a holiday special, like, just seeing, like, the cast just sort of, like, in their element, just, like, playing a game of D&D, which is, of course, very on brand with the show. I think it's very creative, very good marketing strategy. Glad that they did it. I enjoyed what I'd seen of it, because I love the Stranger Things cast. So, yeah, I need to finish it, but I just wanted to mention that I had seen it, because a lot of people also, when I posted about my Instagram story, they had no idea that it was a thing, which is weird. Like, the fact that it's, like, such a good marketing strategy, like, why didn't you market it better? Because, like, a lot of people didn't know what was happening. I guess that's because it was, like, on YouTube and not Netflix, but I, like, had it in my calendar, like, way, like, in advance. I was, like, ready for the release day, and, like, a bunch of people didn't even know about it. So, yeah. That's embarrassing that I had it in my calendar on the release day and I still haven't finished it, but I will. Okay, The Wilds. Also talked about this in my best of 2020. This made it onto my top 10 shows of 2020. This is an excellent, excellent Amazon Prime show about these, like, 8 teenage girls who, like, crash land into the ocean after their plane crash lands into the ocean, and they're stranded on an island, and it's fantastic. It's so good. I talked about it more in detail in that video. Please go watch it. I need to rank it. It is an A, absolutely. So if you want to know more about it and why you should watch it, because it's an A, go watch that. Oh my god. But I think Ready or Not still. I'm gonna put it here, like, at the, like, ooh, it's so good. I want to watch it again. Oh my god, me and my parents, we watched The Little Prince. I had seen this before, like, back when it came out. This was, like, such a weird movie. It was such, like, it had, like, such a weird release thing. I don't think it was ever, like, officially released in theaters in the US. It's definitely a Netflix original internationally, but they also got a theater release. I think it's on Netflix in the US. I don't know. This is a fantastic movie. It's based on this French, children's book called The Little Prince, and it has, like, it's basically, like, a story, like, written around the concept of this children's book, and the animation is beautiful. Like, the animation of, like, the actual little print sequences are like paper, very much like Kubo and the Two Strings, if you've seen that movie, and it's absolutely gorgeous, and it's a really heartwarming story, and I hadn't seen it for a couple years, and I love it a lot. So, Soul. Okay, let's get into the 2 Christmas Day releases. Watch Soul. Me and my parents watched both this and Wonder Woman on Christmas Day, because that's just how we vibe. So we watched Soul, Pixar movie. I do not love this movie as much as everyone else seems to love it. I want to start off by saying that I am not the kind of person who's like a Pixar pacifist, and who's like, oh my god, they haven't released a good movie in like the last, and like only like the original Pixar stuff is good. Like, I don't believe that, because like Coco and Inside Out are like in my top 5 favorite Pixar movies ever, right? However, I think that like this movie at the end fell flat for me. Like, okay, so I'm gonna like spoil it a bit. If you haven't seen it and you care about that, I guess, like, skip ahead. I thought, like, the entire point was that he was gonna realize that he loved being a teacher. And they didn't do that. And, like, the end felt, like, very abrupt to me. Also, I thought that, like, the world building of, like, the Soul universe was a bit weak, especially following, like, a movie like Inside Out, which was, like, or even, like, Coco, which both had, like, really heavy world building. It just felt kind of weak. I also wish that we had sort of focused more on Joe as a person, like, because it's, like, even like a bit, the majority of the movie is in, like, the real world. The cat thing kind of, I wish we hadn't had the cat thing, basically, because it made it very buddy cop, but I get that's, like, for the kids or whatever. But with that being said, animation was stunning. It's the best animation we've ever seen from them. They just keep getting better every time. Music was beautiful, had a lot of really great scenes. It's a very good movie. It's just, like, I'm not, like, blown away by it. I didn't cry, which is, like, I don't remember the last time I've watched a Pixar movie and haven't cried. Like, even, like, Onward, which, like, is literally at, like, D on my list, like, so the end still made me cry. With that being said, I did like it better than Onward, even though Onward made me cry and Soul didn't. I feel like I need to watch it again. We need to see more diversity from Disney, always, so, like, very diverse. Good on you guys. But I don't know, I just wanted a bit more from it. I wanted a bit more. But like I said, I did like it better than Onward. It's definitely in C. I would put it, like, here, like, above the 2 documentaries, because I did really like it, because it's, like, it's Pixar, right? Like, Pixar doesn't make bad movies. Like, even, like, The Good Dinosaur, actually, no, the Cars sequels are kind of bad, but even, like, Good Dinosaur, which is, like, objectively, like, a really, like, weak movie in comparison to the rest of their lineup, it's still, like, not a bad movie, so, yeah. And then Wonder Woman 1984, also kind of disappointing to me. I think the first Wonder Woman movie is so good. Like, I think the story and the world building and, like, the classic feeling of it is very, very strong. And this just felt like a superhero movie to me. And, like, I know that it's a superhero movie and that's the whole point. But Wonder Woman didn't feel like a superhero movie to me. And this one did. I really liked the beginning. I liked the whole build-up of Cheetah. I thought, what is her name? Kristen Wiig. She was amazing as, like, the Barbara Cheetah. I thought that was, like, really endearing and fun. And then I also thought Pedro Pascal was, like, really good, and I thought he was a really good villain. But I just feel like towards, like, the middle end, it just got, like, really convoluted. I thought the fight scene with Cheetah was really, like, underwhelming, because, like, the CGI was kind of rough, and that's why they did it in the dark, and it's also, like, why is she fighting Cheetah? Like, Cheetah's not even the villain. I feel like they didn't even have, like, I feel like they made Cheetah into Cheetah way too fast. Like, I feel like they could have, like, because I feel like they're obviously gonna do more, right? So, like, they could have just had this movie as, like, Barbara, and then maybe, still had the whole wish thing, but she doesn't turn full Cheetah until, like, the end, where she's finally like, okay, now I'm angry. Here's the switch. Like, I feel like it just happened too quickly in this movie. Also, I think having Steve back was dumb. I think it would have been less dumb if they hadn't put him in the trailer and it had actually been a surprise, but of course that's impossible. That's impossible. Nothing is allowed to be a surprise in a superhero movie, apparently. But yeah, it was fine. They were jumping on the 80s train way too late. Like, I know that, like, this movie was supposed to come out earlier, but 2020 is way too late to be doing the 80s hype. Like, we did that back in, like, 2017. It's over. Like, that sort of, like, the 80s hype where you can just do anything with 80s theming and it'll be popular, that's over. Like, that's done. You're too late. It was okay. So, here. Okay, let's talk about Grand Army. So Grand Army was the other, like, new show I watched this month, along with The Wilds. It was this Netflix show. It came out a while ago, I think, but Amanda made a video on it. Y'all know how I feel about my favorite YouTuber, Amanda, where I will watch anything that she says is good. So I watched this show because she said it was good, and I just finished The Wilds, which she also said it was good, so I was looking for something else to watch. It was very, like, I don't want to compare it to Euphoria, but I feel like Euphoria is the blueprint for every modern teen show, and so every modern teen show has to be compared to Euphoria, so I will. It was like Euphoria, but grungier, less cinematic, and like in New York. So like I was very entertained by it, but I didn't like any of the characters really, and it like Layla makes me want to leap off a cliff. I'm just gonna disclose that. Like I can't even express to you my hatred for Layla. I can't even express to you my hatred for a lot of the characters on this show. But I did think like a lot of the characters were, I take it back. I like Dom. And then I was very interested in Joey's storyline, but I don't necessarily like Joey. I don't know, like I thought it was a good, entertaining show. I watched it in like 2 days, but I definitely wouldn't recommend it over something like Euphoria, or like Sex Education, or We Are Who We Are, or like the other sort of recent teen dramas. Like I'd say like if you want like a pretty diverse, grungy New York teen drama, because that's what this is. It's just about like all these different intertwining stories at Grand Army High School in New York. Yeah, it's probably gonna get a second season, but there's been a lot of like controversy like behind the scenes where like all the writers quit because they were like treated really horribly by Netflix, which is, yeah, so I don't know what's gonna happen, but if it gets a second season, I will obviously watch it. It's definitely set up for one, and we'll see how that goes. There? Okay, watch The Invisible Man again, which I talked about my whole thing with that in my top 10 of 2020 list, because I'd seen it before. It is number 4 at C right now. I'm going to move it up because I liked it a lot more in my I liked it a lot the first time, but I liked it even more the second time I watched it, so I'm gonna put it here. Watched The King with my mom for Timothy's birthday, because where Timothée Chalamet stands first and Human second. I actually hadn't seen this movie because I'm a fake fan. But we watched The King with Timothée Chalamet, Robert Pattinson. It was, my mom's really into these like period pieces of like kings and queens and shit. I'm usually not. I probably wouldn't have like watched this movie nor cared had Timothy not been in it, but considering Timothy was in it and I got to look at him for 2 hours, I was definitely entertained. I don't know, I felt like the second half of the movie was really strong. I think the first half was pretty slow. But yeah, I just felt kind of like average to me. Like I feel like it was very average. Like I definitely like wouldn't have been on my radar whatsoever had he not been in it. But he's talented. He's so talented. He's so talented. Like here. Look at the very bottom of C. And then lastly, me and my parents watched Motherless Brooklyn, which was this movie that came out last year about this detective in like the 50s with Tourette syndrome. Very, very interesting movie. Liked it a lot. The acting was really good. I love a good like detective flick. Also had Bruce Willis in it and William Dafoe. It was a pretty stacked cast. Yeah, it was a good time. And I would put that like here. Okay, we're gonna make final changes. We're going to go through and make sure everything is in its final spot for the end of the year. So, is that it? Okay. I'm saying this with minute confidence that this is my final ranking. My opinions change all the time, as you've seen, because I've moved these around like every month, but after going through them all and moving them around for this final time, here is my ranking. And once again, these are all things that I saw for the first time this year. So this includes 2020 releases as well as things that didn't come out in 2020, but I saw for the first time this year, which is different rules than my best of 2020. So, A, number 1, Queen's Gambit, followed by Sex Education Season 2, I'm Not Okay With This, Umbrella Academy Season 2, We Are Who We Are, Big Little Lies, The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, Dark Season 3, Little Fires Everywhere, Euphoria, The Good Place, Euphoria Rue, Hamilton, Barry, Legion, Haunting of Bly Manor, Defending Jacob, Ready or Not, The Wilds, The Mandalorian Season 2, Adventure Time Obsidian. That's my A tier. B tier, Ratchet, Lock and Key, Run, The Great Gatsby, Boys in the Band, 1917, Hustlers, You Season 2, The Prom, Hollywood, The Politician Season 2, The Invisible Man, Miss Americana, Swallow, Jojo Rabbit, 13 Reasons Why Season 4, Shameless Season 11, Get Organized with the Home Edit, The Undoing, The Turning, Horse Girl, Marriage Story, Shutter Island, Ex Machina. C tier, The Witches, Love Victor, Juno, Julie and the Phantoms, Shirley, I'm Thinking of Ending Things, Palm Springs, Steven Universe Future, Soul, Enola Holmes, Selling Sunsets, Birds of Prey, Shawshank Redemption, Bombshell, The Omen, The Exorcist, Catch Me If You Can, Devil All the Time, Queer Eye Season 5, Excuse Me I Love You, Shawn Mendes and Wonder, Grand Army, Emma, Onward, Dash and Lily, Ozark, High School Musical, The Musical, The Series, The Holiday Special, Good Boys, Good Doctor Season 4, The Lie, Gone Girl, Wonder Woman 1984, Tenet, Motherless Brooklyn, Resistance, The King. D tier, When the Streetlights Go On, Ma, A Rainy Day in New York, Chemical Hearts, Slumdog Millionaire, The Half of It, The Usual Suspects, Rebecca, Instant Influencer, Holiday Movies That Made Us. And the F tier, Gretel and Hansel, In the Tall Grass, All the Boys, P.S. I Still Love You, American Horror Story 1984, Sabrina Season 3, and Tiger King. That is every new thing I watched in 2020. Let me count them real quick. 97. And while counting that, I just realized that I didn't put like the seasons of Teen Wolf that I like watched for the first time this year because I was finishing the show on here, but we're just gonna have to use our imagination and pretend that it's here. So that's like 98 new things that I watched this year. That's almost 100 new titles. I mean, obviously some of these are like continuations, so like shows that I had like started watching a few years ago or last year or whatever that were like, but whatever, 98 new things. And then all the other things that I rewatched this year. That's pretty good. That's a pretty good variety, if I do say so myself. And with that being said, thank you for sticking with me for an entire year of monthly recaps. So, as for 2021, I don't know if I want to do them every month. I definitely still want to do these videos to some degree because I like being able to like review everything that I watch, and I like having this here, this tier list of everything that I watch. So I'm thinking maybe doing like 2 months, so like every other month, so it'll be like January, February. I could do like 3 months, I could do quarters. I don't know how I'm gonna do it. So I think because the problem was like some months I like didn't want to make these videos because I feel like I didn't watch anything interesting, whereas like some months I was like super excited to get to film this video because I felt like I watched a bunch of good stuff. So I don't know. I don't really know how I'm going to do it, but I definitely want to continue to do these recaps to some degree because this was very satisfying and I like being able to talk about everything I watch. Because like by doing separate reviews of things, like a lot of people come to my channel for like specific niches and they don't care what I have to say about Little Fires Everywhere, you know? So I liked being able to do this. And I hope to continue to do this. And I hope you continue to watch these and like them. But yeah, let me know. Do you know how many new things you watched in 2020? I would love to know. Did you do some sort of list? Like were you keeping track like I was? Or are you normal? With that being said, comment, like, and subscribe, press the notification bell, because I don't have an uploading schedule. Links in the description for my merch, my website, my second channel, my social media, ways you can help with Black Lives Matter, all that important stuff. It's been a really bad year, but you're seeing this now in 2021, so new horizons. Sorry to remind you of 2020 by releasing this video in January, but what can I say? This has been a really great dinner. Thanks for coming over.